Hello. Hi. Welcome. I'll make sure this is working correctly before I dive into anything. Alright, cool. Yeah, we're good. Hello. Bienvenidos. This is a night dive here with Jetthro. Lots of good things coming up tonight, I think. I've been thinking about just being in autopilot and just kind of the different sections of my brain and just kind of how those kind of work and how they help and hurt each other a lot. So I'm going to explore that and just kind of dissect a few things and just talk through a lot, I guess. So I'm excited. I want to start out my night streams, though. Let me see here. I want to start out my night streams. Let's do this. With a little bit of gratitude as well as a mantra. The gratitude, I've just noticed I don't know how corny or how cheesy it is. I kind of don't care. But I just notice myself in just a little bit of a better mindset or mood, or I just feel a little bit better. I don't know how to explain it, but I do just feel a little bit positive. I don't know. After I practice some gratitude. And it just, the thing about it is, like, I don't know, I've gone through phases of it, and I practice gratitude. I feel awkward about doing it. It's, I unless I'm like fully like invested into the gratitude for someone or for something, it just feels forced. But I mean, that's it's kind of two halves of a coin. Like, I feel better when I do it, but it also doesn't feel like fully genuine. So I don't know, but they say, like, you keep practicing it. Like, this is one of those things where you kind of fake it till you make it almost. So I don't know. I'm working through it. I'm working through it. I want to do I want to do some gratitude and work through that, but I also want to do a mantra. And the mantra is kind of this all-encompassing kind of, it's not like a specific thing that I'm not saying like 5 specific words or a specific sentence every single time, but it's just kind of this overall feeling of like the journey I'm going on now is hard. It's difficult. Where I was in the past, it was also hard and difficult, but I didn't realize it. Just part of my brain or part of my outlook just didn't think it was, I guess, or that one's harder to explain, but essentially I'm in a mindset now, or like I view the world now as shit's hard. It's hard to do things consistently. Being consistent is difficult. Even these streams for me, like, I know how much it helps me and how much better it is for me, but at the end of the night, I'm exhausted. It's hard to do these. So that'll be kind of, quick little I'm probably already like 5 minutes in or something like that. Yeah, I am. That'll be a quick little thing, and then I'll dive into the night dives. I'm already 5 minutes in. That's all right. But the night dive itself, I want to really explore this part of my brain. I really want to dive into it. I kind of did earlier, like in an earlier stream with Ty, talking about autopilot. So let me do my gratitude real quick. Let me do my mantra real quick, and then I'll dive into that. Gratitude, man. See, I feel so awkward. I went to the beach today. I took a day. I was gonna work, but I just took a day. I was like, today is a day where my wife's not working. I'm not working. I guess I could choose to not work, in a way. It's one day out of a lot of days where things line up for me and my wife where we can take some time together. And so I'm really grateful that we chose each other. I'm really grateful that we chose to, take our kid and go as a family. It was an hour drive. It wasn't close, but it's within reach easily, and we just had to do it. And I'm really glad we did. Just feeling a closer connection to both of them, closer than I already am, was really, really nice. That does feel nice. It does. And the mantra, yeah, like I was saying, kind of in that introduction there, it is so hard to be consistent. Like, even like fully planning things out. I mean, I haven't reached that point yet. But even like fully planning things out, and all I have to do is just like execute the thing that, even these night streams, it's hard to do every single night. And it's something that I want. It's something I want to do. I know how much better it is for my mind when I do these things. Running, I know how good that is for my body, for my mind, for just everything in general for me. And it still is. Almost every morning or every time I go run, it takes me a few minutes to do that, to get out the door and to just do it. So it's hard. It's hard, and I give myself a lot of credit for making it to this point, I guess. But it's still hard. And it will be hard. It'll be difficult. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this. I've been thinking about this kind of all day. So I just really notice that there's So David Goggins talks about this, and I'm becoming a disciple of his, and it feels cringy. But he has a lot of good things he says, and one of them is he says there's this concept of when he was, what he calls fat, when he was fat or overweight or whatever, however you want to call it. He says that was his, like, David Goggins. That persona was David Goggins, where that persona would eat milkshakes all the time and eat a box of donuts all the time, and not be in shape, or he says he was a bitch. And he says that, like, that David Goggins comes up in his mind a lot still. Essentially the persona of almost like this brain that is kind of deserving of things, of of like junk food and just taking the easy way out of things. So he talks about that part of the brain, and that's his David Goggins part. But he also talks about like he had to create a whole new like persona, which he now calls Goggins. And Goggins is the guy that he sees himself as. Like he looks in the mirror and he's proud of what he sees. He looks in like and not I don't think he's even talking about physically. Like he's talking about like he looks in the mirror and he's proud of what he's done for himself. And that's the Goggins part of, you know, sticking through things when they're difficult, you know, running these crazy races and swimming these crazy distances, or just, you know, doing triathlons or Ironmans, or, you know, all this crazy shit that he's done. But that's the Goggins part of his brain. And they're two different personas. I've kind of been reading this book about Sherlock Holmes and how this lady like dissects she breaks down the Sherlock Holmes persona. She says there's Sherlock Holmes who is completely fully analytical in the active portion of his brain at all times. He can decipher like through logic. He can see like this happened, this happened, this happened, and, you know, put it all together and understand. He can solve problems. But then there's Watson, the Watson part of his brain. And that part, or there's a Watson character, I should say. That person is just kind of like me, or just kind of like the everyday person, just kind of floating through life, just kind of letting it kind of happen, just kind of being there, you know, just kind of letting life happen to him, essentially. Okay, that took a little bit of setup, but do you kind of I'm hoping I'm getting across the idea that there are two separate parts of the brain, the conscious and the subconscious. And the conscious part of the brain is the one that, for me, wants to accomplish things. There's that part is the Sherlock part, or the Goggins part, or the Jetthro part, that wants to accomplish things. It wants to get things done. It wants to feel proud. Like, I want to feel proud of myself when I look back at my life and say, yeah, I learned Spanish. Yeah, I ran 100 miles in one go. Yeah, I learned another language. Yeah, I learned music. Yeah, I did all of these things. I look back at my life, and for me personally, I did all that. That's the Jetthro part. That's the conscious part of my brain. And then there's the subconscious part of my brain, which is like the Watson part, where, or the David Goggins part, where all it wants to do, the subconscious part of my brain, the jet part of my brain, all it wants to do is go to sleep at all times. All it wants to do is find food and go to sleep at all times. And it's hard to like break that, or like not be in that mindset. When I've been there, that has been my mind, that has been my operating system. That has been my default operating system for 20 years. That part of my brain, the subconscious part of my brain, has where I've been living for almost all of my life. Like even today though, even today I went down to the beach, and as soon as I got there, I was like, okay, I need to get some food, and then maybe I can play in the water or something. But I'm really tired. I drove an hour. I'm kind of exhausted, but I'm kind of tired. I could really use a nap. Like, that's playing in my head as I get to the beach. It's taking a lot of time for me to break that, but at least now I'm realizing that there are two separate parts, right? But it's just it's frustrating now that I see it. It's frustrating because I look back at my life and like, man, like I'm surprised I even had moments of clarity where I, you know, was able to break that autopilot and do things, because it's really strong for me. I'm noticing, I'm aware of it much more now. And if it's how it is now, if that's how it's always been throughout my whole past life, like, man, it is kind of a shock I got anything done, because my brain, my Watson brain, or my jet brain, or, you know, the subconscious part of my brain is constantly telling me that. It's constantly telling me, like, hey, dude, you've done a lot today. It's 1 p.m. You've done a lot today, dude. You should sleep. You should take a nap. You should find some food and go lay down. And like, I really don't want to listen to that. Like, I almost want to go to the extreme, because it's hard now, because now that I'm aware of it, I don't know, there's a line, and it's hard for me to figure out, like, when it's hard for me to figure out, like, when it's hang on, the music stopped here. I want to keep going. It's hard for me to figure out when it's actually me actually being tired, or if it's just my brain, you know, my subconscious brain telling me I'm tired. So it's hard to tell, but I'm trying to figure that out. But hang on one second, sorry. Trying to take some, like, notes on time. So yeah, it's like, how do I dive deeper into that? You know, there's two sections of existence, you know, like, the active part of my brain is where I want to live as much as possible. If I can be there 100% of the time, I'd love to be there 100% of the time. I don't know if it's possible. I'm sure it is, with lots and lots of practice, but I just, you know, like, why am I questioning it? I know exactly how to do it. You just have to do it. Like, maybe, you know, maybe just not listening to my subconscious brain anymore is the best way to go about it. And I'm trying really hard. I'm trying really, really hard. Every single day, you know, a thought comes up. I think it's like some kind of, because for me it's the fear part of my brain. For me it's like the subconscious is like the part, it's a healthy part of the brain, and, you know, it's a healthy thing that's necessary, because it keeps me from dying, essentially. Like, its main function is to keep me from dying. You know, like, fear of unknown situations stems from that part of my brain. I think it's the amygdala. But, you know, fear of unknown situations, or fear of, you know, for me, like, the edges of buildings and looking down terrify me. Flying kind of terrifies me, just being that high up. You know, and that also that kind of thing, like, stems from the amygdala, right? And it's healthy. It's necessary to be there. It should be there because it keeps you safe. But the amount that it, like, chatters at me, the amount that it talks at me every day, you know, the amount that it, like, tells me, again, mine specifically is telling me at all times I should go to sleep. I should rest. I deserve rest. I deserve to lay down and, you know, not do anything. I deserve to be in bed. I deserve to be on a couch resting where it's safe, where I know that nothing's going to happen to me. You know, I can just lay there and consume media and not have to worry about social situations. I don't have to worry about, like there's no anxiety there. There's no, like, that is a complete safe place for me. That's what my brain is telling me, right? But if I do that my entire life, I'm never going to fully exist. I'm never going to see, like, at the beginning of March, I saw myself in the future. I saw myself at 70 years old. And the life I was living, where I was on the couch, where I was laying in bed, where all I wanted to do when I woke up was just lay in my bed for 2 more hours. Literally 2 more hours or more on my phone. Right? That was my past life, and my subconscious brain was ruling my life. And that's all I wanted to do. I saw myself in the future when I saw myself as 70. And that path of life, I would have looked back and said, man, I really spent a lot of time on Reddit. Wow. Look at my accomplishments. And I'd pull up my statistics on Reddit at, like, how much karma I had, or like how long I'd been a member of Reddit, and all the different subreddits I was in and how long I was in them for. That would have been my life. I would have showed my kids. I would have showed my grandkids if I have some. Hey, look, Papa Jet. I've been on Reddit for 56 years. Look at my cake day. Like seriously? Like, that is what got me. That feeling of pain and feeling like, man, my subconscious is ruling my life right now. And it is getting me nowhere. Like that. That's where I was. Man, this is painful. That's where I was. That's just where I was at. And there's no way around it. it does feel good to know that, like, it's completely a different. Like I literally view the world differently. Like I have a lot of things left over from that life, yeah. But like I view the world differently. I view people differently. Being more in my conscious brain, being more in my Sherlock brain, or Jetthro or Goggins brain, or whatever. Like I'm more in that brain, and I literally view everything else. Everything's different. But I guess there's no but. I want more. I want more. Like I realize the subconscious brain's never gonna go away. The fear, or the hey dude, just lay in your bed. Hey dude, you deserve a rest. Like that's never gonna go away. But I just want it to be less. I saw I saw a Michael Phelps clip, like an interview type thing, and he was like, yeah man, I was in the water for 20. Well, the first part of it, he's like, I swam every single day for 5 or 6 years. Like he didn't miss a single day, because he said most other swimmers would take a day off. So he's like, I got 52, like in a week they would take a day off. So he's like, I got 52 extra days a year, and when you're swimming at that level, it takes 2 days to get back to where you were. So when I was in the water every single day, that gave me 52 extra days advantage over everyone else, plus I didn't backtrack any. So that for me was like, whoa, okay, cool. You get it, Michael Phelps, hell yeah. Get some. And he did. But he, in like another clip, or like maybe it was the same one, he was like, yeah, like I swam in the water for 20 years. And I guarantee you, he's like, at least 100 days, I didn't even want to get out of bed. And I was like, dude, I saw that and I was like, dude, 20 years? 100 days, that's it? Like, I would have reached 100 days 100 days in. Like, good for you that it's only 100. Dude, that's 5 days a year where you want to stay in bed, Michael Phelps. Good, that's awesome. But maybe we are wired a little differently in the brain somewhere. But no, like, it's just the whole point of me saying that is like, it's good to know that even the absolute greatest at whatever in sports or thoughts or whatever, it doesn't matter. The absolute greatest have days where they don't want to do anything at all, and they figure out a way to do it anyway. Which was a concept that I just didn't fully realize until recently. I just thought like, oh, Tom Brady, he was just born amazing at football and quarterback or whatever. He was just from the get-go. That was it, and he just had a life path, and he practiced and he did it. And when I say he practiced, to me, I was like, just running the drills that the coaches tell him to. But I bet you, I know for sure that he was doing way extra. And Kobe and obviously Michael Phelps and all those guys, doing that shit, like, they had days where they didn't want to do anything, but they did it anyway. And that for me has that was, I already said that, but that was huge for me when I figured that out. So anyway, yeah, two halves of the brain. conscious and subconscious. I'm just in autopilot a lot. I'm just like I'm just coasting through life a lot, and just to kind of recap all of this, I really just want to be more in my active brain. I just want to be there for now, like right now. I'd say my subconscious is probably at like 70 or 80% at least, maybe even 85% of my daily, like that's where I'm at. Like if I'm being actually honest with myself, that's probably where I'm at. 80 to 85%. I just want it to be flipped. I'd like to be at 80 to 85% of an active brain where I'm like doing shit, and you know, I'm not constantly thinking about sleeping. And I think it just takes time. I think it just takes dedication, and that, you know, that goes back to my the mantra, man. It's fucking hard. It's difficult. There's pain. There's lots of pain involved. It's not gonna be fun. I gotta be more real with myself. I gotta be more dedicated to myself. I gotta be more present with there's lots of things I gotta do, and it's hard. It's gonna be hard, but I know that it's possible, and I know that that's what I want. So okay. I'm gonna do a live stream, I think, this week. I'm gonna find Brandon. If you see this, I'm gonna connect with you, and we're gonna do a live stream for part 2 with you. I want to get him back on to dissect his like goals, and dissect his where he's going in the future, and just kind of what he's looking at doing, and kind of all that. But I think for me, for now, I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for diving with me. I hope you had some scuba gear. Good night. See you guys.